Caerey, the king. Did you have a good weekend?
Good, very quiet weekend. I've noticed here you got Monday the 27th. It's actually the 26th today, Charlie.
I'm glad someone's on the ball.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy out of the weekend? Well, I'll tell you what, the issue that's come out of the weekend, and it's been bubbling along for about 10 years, is the surface at Etihad. Now, I know it was dodgy at times when you were playing, but it seems to have got even worse.
It has, and look, the thing that is upsetting everyone, and the players especially, also the spectators, players, people there watching the game, is that it is slippery in some spots and not so slippery in others. Players are wearing moulded. People are saying, well, you should be wearing screw-ins and then you won't slip over. But then there's parts of the ground that are far too hard to be wearing screw-ins.
Okay.
So the whole ground is not the same. And this is where the argument, if the whole ground's slippery, players can cop that. And I think even spectators have to say, well, okay, the whole ground's slippery. Players wear screw-ins and be done with it. We know that players are going to slip over. That's exactly right. Whereas what's happening is players are slipping over in certain areas of the ground, then getting to other areas and the ground's rock hard. So therefore, if they'd had screw-ins on, they would be pulling up very sore and maybe not being able to play the next week through soreness. So that's where everyone's getting frustrated. What they do about it, I'm lost. I really don't know. I know that they're trying everything they can. It really is something that has to be addressed, though. I mean, I think there's only another 4 or 5 games being played on it. So we're just going to have to grin and bear it for the rest of the year.
And some finals.
And some finals.
So.
Okay, well, I didn't. Yeah, okay, well, let's grin and bear it for the rest of the year, and let's hope it gets addressed. But there's nothing they're going to be able to do in the short term. So maybe this is the last we should talk about it, because nothing like beating a dead horse.
I guess so. But do you reckon it's worse than when you were playing? Because I know we had this debate.
It definitely seemed worse. I watched the whole Friday night game, and it didn't look good. And I think little Rioli. I think someone said it's never slipped over in his life. He's got that good. He's got great balance, and he was slipping everywhere. And it is a shame to see players with balance, and you go to watch a really high level game, which it was, by the way, in every aspect, other than players slipping over.
Yeah.
That sort of brought it down a little bit. But other than that, it was fantastic game. And I saw Ashton Kutcher there watching. I don't know whether he thought the slipping over might have been detrimental to his thoughts on the game, but overall I thought it was great.
So you thought he'd come to see Disney on ice?
Yeah. Well, I think apparently after the game he went out there and had a bit of a kick and he slipped over. But no.
You a fan of Ashton's work?
I think, I don't mind Ashton. He's got a good sense of humour. Apparently he had a bevy of young women out there that had high heels on, and none of those slipped over because the high heels went deep into the turf.
He's a great Twitterer. You should think about doing that.
I don't think so.
What about now the Friday night game, which we've touched on? A cracker, and it's the latest in a succession of really good games we've had. And I reckon the 2010 season has had more, I hate to use the word blockbuster, but blockbusters that have lived up to the hype.
Yeah, absolutely. They have, and that's been the great thing. Other than probably maybe last week or the week before, Collingwood St Kilda probably didn't live up to the hype, but all the others definitely have. And I think we've got a couple more coming up. So it's definitely been a season for blockbusters. There's been some ordinary games as well, but no doubt about that, Charlie. You're spot
on. Hawks and St Kilda. Now, what did you make of that game? What can we read into it? The Saints seem to have hit a bit of a flat patch, but then again, the Hawks are really got some momentum going, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, look, I think the Hawks won't make a top 4, but the Hawks, like Adelaide did in 97-98, the Hawks are capable of winning it from outside the top 4, and we haven't seen that before, other than Adelaide. So they're the sleeping giant, I believe. They've taken it to Geelong, and I believe they should have beaten Geelong. I think they should have beaten St Kilda. They were unlucky against the Saints. We know the decision that was made and all that sort of with the interchange bench and a few other things. But
the last play
of the day. Give credit where credit's due. If that reversed the situation, St Kilda would have had numbers back. They would have had plays between that ruck contest and the goal line. Hawthorn lost it, no doubt about that. But credit where credit's due. St Kilda never give up. St Kilda are a very, very good side. I was going to say bloody then, but they are a really good side, and they fight till the end, and that's exactly what they did.
Buddy's game, what was your assessment of that?
Look, Buddy was everything that Buddy does in terms of, when he gets it, he's exciting, and the goals. He kicked 5 fantastic goals. He gave away 3 50-metre penalties. I think probably 2 of them were definitely there, and I think he gave away 4 or 5 free kicks as well. I'm sure in Buddy's own mind he'd be looking at that game saying, okay, I kicked 5, but not a great game. And I know people are saying that I think people put Buddy in their votes. You look at Hodge and a few others that played that were just superb. Hodge was brilliant. I probably, even though Buddy kicked 5,
wasn't in your votes.
Wasn't probably in my votes. On the whole balance of a team performance, I'm sure Buddy would probably agree. But boy, when he gets it and when he takes off, he's as exciting as anyone.